can probably see me a bit better now. Hello, and oh, I should stand off to one side, shouldn't I? Yeah, like everybody else. Hello, and good morning. Bonjour. Hola. Well, that's as far as I'm ever going to go with my foreign languages. Welcome to Home Renovations TV and to another episode or vlog. You'll probably have seen before this section, I've just spent a good few hours cutting and prepping all the boards to go down in this area. I haven't clipped them together. I wonder if any of you thought to yourselves or were commenting, he's not clipping them together, he's not pushing them together. I know I haven't, and that's because I've got a couple of bits and pieces over here to sort out before I do, and Zoe wants to hoover yet again underneath all these boards, so they're all coming back up, and then I can do all the fine tuning, push them back and lock them into place, nail them down, and yeah, we're nearly done with this one. 3 days unfortunately, but yes, I didn't start until gone 2-3 o'clock on Tuesday, and yesterday was some success but a little bit of a disaster in terms of how much I managed to get laid. I only actually managed to get sort of 1 metre of flooring laid yesterday, but hopefully today we'll get the rest of these down and in and around the door here done, and I'll have quite a few more tips and tricks and so on as we move along. So yeah, I'm going to stop it here, have my coffee, and we'll come back in a moment. Okay. So what I've done, or what I've got to do, is cut around this half, and what I've done is I've placed the board exactly where I want it to go, and I've pushed my speed square right up against the half here, and I'm just going to put a line right the way across the board. Okay, now I'm going to bring it back. Okay. And lock it in place. Okay. This time what I'm going to do is put my speed square up against the face of the half on this side and just put a mark here. Okay, so I know that that piece is what I've got to cut off. Okay. Now then, for the next bit we're going to go off onto here, so if you want to stop. Right, so what I've now got, because the speed square is a fantastic tool, but I cannot use it for getting nice long straight lines. So what I'm using here is my T-square, which is a McAllister, and it's a 1200 in length. I use it mostly for doing plasterboards, but if we push it up against the end there and push it up to where I've just put that mark, okay, and run the line right the way down through. Okay, so now I know that this section here is what we want to cut. Okay. Now we're going to use two methods for doing this. Okay. I'm going to have to go just run and get one tool a second, which I don't actually have with me down here. So I'm going to put you on pause again. Right, so I've just been and gotten the tool that I was searching for, which is basically a 10-end saw. Some people call it a dovetail saw, some call it a back saw. It's probably the cheapest tool I've actually got, and it's from WorkZone. I won't be putting a link to it because, well, I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, and all I'm going to do with that is use it as a cross saw and cut down to the line that I've just put in here. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is use my little mini circular saw, and I find this tool such a fantastic little tool to use. Sorry, I should bring it up, shouldn't I, to show you.
This one on the floor? This
one here. It's a little mini circular saw, and I absolutely love this tool. I've done so much with it, from the cladding on the dormer to the cutting the boards for the roof itself. You know, I'm trying to think of what else I've done with it, but there is so much I've done with it, and I only bought it sort of March, April time. And I paid £60 for it, and well, now I can't see myself without it. Okay, so I'm going to get this one set up again. I know I should be a bit more prepared for doing these things, but it's not always the case. Okay, so I'm just going to run the saw down to this here, but I'm not going to go all the way. Okay, this time. Okay, I know that the board's about to fall off the other end. So what I've done is I've cut down, and as I was cutting, I was pulling the board towards me to avoid the horses here, sawhorses, sorry. Let me tell you a little bit about these sawhorses. There is a real story behind them. They are about 150-year-old. And they came from Zoe's dad. No, Zoe's dad is not 150-year-old, but I believe it came from his granddad, so it would be your great-granddad. And they've been around for 150 years, and I'm sure that your dad will say, well, it's had new legs God knows how many times, and a new top God knows how many times. So yeah, it's one of those Del Boy type stories, but yeah, they've worked fantastic for me, doing all sorts of jobs around the house. So yeah, anyway, so I've pulled the board back onto here, and we'll continue to cut. Okay. Okay, so I've not gone all the way to this corner here. Okay, what I'm now going to use is that little dovetail saw. I hope it might work, might not work. Let me go around to the side. I might have to go and get one of the others. Yep, and it did. Right. That board there is ready. Okay, and when we come back in a moment, we'll fit it and show you a bit more. Hiya, I do apologise that I'm a heck of a lot further on than I was when I spoke to you a moment ago, but we've had a visitor today, and to be honest, I kind of cracked on with it whilst he was here. But anyway, I'm back now, and I'm going to complete. Oh, sorry. Today's task is to complete or to complete this floor here, and then we'll moving over to do this half here. Get that done. Again, the reason for doing the half I'll talk about when we get there, because I think I'm going to do that as a standalone video. It might not be very long, but I think it's worth having that as a standalone. Okay, so yeah, we'll get this done, and tomorrow, dependent on the weather, so I'm hoping it's going to be nice weather tomorrow, we're going to be
freaking hot.
We're going to be removing all this and bricklaying up here.
Yeah.
You know,
it's only there because our patio doors, when we originally bought the house, were slightly bigger, and we had gales of wind and blew it down, so we had to rush and quick buy a standard one.
Yeah, something. Yeah, these are a standard B&Q, and these here either side I got from a reclamation yard. So yeah, I've got to do some bricking up there and neatening that up. So there's that to do. I've also got to sort out where the old walls used to be.
With the brick, they need all cutting down where Ruru's laying.
Yeah. Get that sorted.
Yeah.
So
ready for plastering.
Yeah, and then once we've got ceiling in the ceiling boards on, and the wall boards, then we'll go into talking about you know, the multifunction home cinema. Well, I say multifunction. It's a living room, but there will be a home cinema in here as well, and we'll talk about that a bit later on. So yes, there's loads to come. So
and we do appreciate everybody watching.
Yeah, we do appreciate everybody watching, and please do subscribe. And I do read every comment, and I do thank everybody for commenting, and wherever I can, I do reply to those comments. So yeah, thank you.
So we're just going to put you on time lapse to watch the rest of the floor going down if you're interested in watching.
Yeah. There might be tips as I go along doing it. So yeah, I thought it would be best to do it normal, because I've got some time lapse, you know, on previous videos, you know. Yeah, this is rather interesting, and I know. Oh shit, sugar. I've got to stop saying that.
Ruru, move your nose, darling, because Daddy will hurt you.
Right, another little tip I've found as I've been doing this, and the tips I'm giving you are sometimes tips that I've learnt as I've worked through the floor myself. Yes, I've done 2 floors of it, but I'm still learning as I'm going along myself.
This is your 3rd floor.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, I've done three
this will
full
be your 3rd.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of them is, especially if Zoe's got to do something, you know, like sorting out tea and so on. And I'm afraid off camera, I've got a dog who has fallen asleep. Okay.
With the legs crossed, bless her.
But one of the things I've learned is I put down one row, I don't fix it in, I just put it down, and then get the next row and place it in front of it, so that when I'm knelt down, I haven't got to disturb Zoe, who actually at the moment is preserving some carrots, you know, for in case we got locked down. So yeah, as long as when you put them down, you've got enough room that you can get your block in and use the rubber mallet. You know, that's the way I've been working, and it seems to go quite quickly. So the other tip, another tip, is make sure you get it in at one end, then come back down to this end, okay, and try and get that end in as well. But I can see here that's not going to quite work because I've got a join here, and as has happened with all the joins on this floor, for you know, because they've been outside for a while anyway. There we go. Get them locked in. And as is always the case, no it's not. There we go, it is going in slowly. There we go. When I was cutting the boards yesterday, what I did, if Zoe can do me a favour and grab us the 2 boxes, a sec.
What boxes are what?
Chips. Shavings. Sawdust.
Oh! Wake up, Zoe. Basically saved all the fresh chippings for the gaps, haven't you? So we can.
I'm going to be using an epoxy resin for filling the gaps, and I'm going to mix in the sawdust, but because it's from these floorboards, that's why I kept the sawdust, so that the filler will be the same.
And it was on the silver paper, so it won't.
Yeah. There was no contaminants in it. So yeah, we've got some really quite interesting contents to come up over the next few weeks, as well as unfortunately some boring stuff as well. But what I'm going to try and do is, as I'm uploading, is to try and stagger the boring stuff with the more interesting. And I say they're interesting, but you know, it's interesting to me, and I hope you find it interesting as well. Right, so we're now ready to put the next row in. It only takes a couple of minutes.
Once we've already cut them, they need to put down.
Yeah, that's it. It's the time-consuming part, to be honest, is cutting, measuring, making sure that we've got everything right. This actual laying is rather simple. Now, I can't tell you whether or not this would be the same techniques that I would use for hardwood flooring or laminate, because it's not something I've got a lot of experience with. But I should also point out as well, this will be the finished floor eventually.
Once you've sanded it.
Yeah, we've got some processes to go, but I can't see us doing that before Christmas.
And it's pine flooring we're using, isn't it?
Yes, it's European pine. I can't tell you what species it is. And they are. Where's my tape measure? Your dad had it and hasn't given it me back. They are, including the tongue, 145mm by 20mm. Sometimes just using your fist just to tap the board before and then pulling with your hand to pull the board in works just as well. So I've just come back down this end, pull that board over. Sorry, I'm out of camera shot here, I know I am. There we go. But we're always trying to find new and interesting ways. We're still learning with filming. You know, we've been doing it now since July, filming, although it's I've only just started releasing the videos, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, I spent time doing some of the editing, etc. And that again I'm still learning with. I did a TV production course at or degree at university, but they didn't really teach you editing or anything like that. It seemed to be more along the theory side of it. So I'm you know, and they talk about preparation, planning, and so on and so forth. But with these sort of videos, I can only plan, you know, getting the materials here, those sort of things. I can't plan how the job's going to go because, well, as you've seen doing this floor, it doesn't always go according to plan. And yeah, like for example, the tip I gave you for around this fireplace here, yeah, just down here, when we came to fit the board, actually didn't work. That don't get me wrong, that tip is ideal if you've got lovely square rooms and walls, but unfortunately that isn't the case here. So I'll be showing you another tip that seemed to work for me there when we put these boards in up to the wall, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be a slither by the wall here. So yeah, and the reason we haven't cut this thermal wrap is I want to get the boards in first, and then I'll give it a trim, because having it come up the wall a tad will just protect the end of the boards as well. And again, gives us some lovely ventilation underneath this floor, and keeps the damp away from the underside of the floor as well, to prevent, or I wouldn't say it prevents it, but goes a long way to helping preserve the boards for as long as possible. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, I'll go get some boards in to cut for along this section here. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. I'm quite annoyed with myself. I'd started to, or I was chatting away, I thought to you, you know, setting up, getting myself set up ready for doing some boards, and I just cut the board, showing you another technique, you know, for doing these boards, and it wasn't recording, so I was chatting away to Zoe or to myself. So I'm going to show you on the next one, because I've got a couple more boards. But anyway, one of the tricks I wanted to show you was getting a board to fit in where that wall there is. But this board, for some reason, is absolutely perfect in there. So I haven't got to do that. What I will be showing you actually is how to get it to slide into where you want it up there. So we'll go up there, and it's a good job that Zoe's doing handheld and has finished doing what she needs to. Looks like you got lots of carrots peelings for the compost for me.
Yeah.
I know we haven't started the garden yet, but for the last 2 years,
yeah,
I've been making all our own compost, because I know we're going to need absolutely tons of it. Anyway, let's come on down here to this end. And I know we're going to have a problem here, because I can't get the wedge in here. But what I'm going to use is the bar here, and I'm just going to put it up, down in between, and try and push it across slowly. And all I'm doing is very gently putting it between the board and the wall and pushing with it, which has made it nice, you know, pushing in up here. I can then continue on down this board with the same method that I have been using. So if I can
don't
move,
move my bum.
if I'm not allowed to say bum.
It could come in your hair.
So yeah, it was as simple as that. I'm not too worried about this gap here. One of the things I'm not sure about, and perhaps, you know, some of you guys with a bit more experience can help me out. Does timber expand along the grain, or does it expand against the grain? In other words, does it expand this way with the grain, or does it expand this way? So does the width of the boards change, or is it the length? Because, you know, I keep thinking about expansion, you know, joints and so on in this, but I'm nailing it down anyway. But, you know, it's something I want to try and understand for future projects, especially when it comes to furniture. So yeah, if you know the answer to that, could you do me a favour and, you know, put a comment in the comment section below, and you know, perhaps we can get some more information. And the next time I'm working with timber, which will be either doing the floors in the kitchen or in the study, and the study's going to be really interesting. because of the type of work that I enjoy doing in the videos, I want to try and make that room as soundproof as I possibly can. So yeah, that one's going to be quite interesting. Anyhow, back to the task at hand. I'm going to, sort this board out here and see what sort of a gap I've got up against. Even. Oh, do you know what?
Don't need to cut that.
I don't have to cut it.
That's going to be fun, getting a little bit in that.
Come on. In. There we go. In that end. I've got nothing to... This one's going to be interesting. I think I'm going to have to try my trick with the wedges on this one.
You can get it in.
Yeah, it's ideal. It's an ideal piece, you know. There we go. It wants to go in one end, but not the other. Okay, you saw me a moment ago struggling to get this in, this piece in here, and I couldn't fathom why I was having such a problem. If Zoe can just bring the camera in as close as she can here, can you see where the knot is? And it's kind of raised here. It's raised enough that it actually won't fit over the tongue. So the way around that is that what I'm going to do, push it up, and unfortunately I'm going to lose that knot altogether and that piece of timber. So I'm just going to find the pencil a second. So yeah, a good tip I think is, if you're struggling to get a piece in, rather than carrying on trying to struggle, is to have a look at either the tongue or the groove and see if there's a little deviation in it. Anyway, so I'm going to take it back to the next button, or if you're doing it on a raised floor, it would be your joist. Scribe a line there, and I'm not going to grab out the mitre saw, because there's only one or two cuts left here to do. So I'm going to use my little friend here and a piece of batten. I'm just going to lift the board up, put my batten in over here, like so. Okay, that just raises it up enough that I'm not going to struggle or cut the new floorboards. I'm then going to use my speed square as a straight edge. Okay, I'm just going to kneel on this piece of batten. Okay, put my speed square. That might be a better way to do it. Sorry. Okay, put my speed square up, and in most circular saws, whether you're using a little tiny one like this or the big one that you've seen me use previously, there's a little V in it. I'm going to line, if Zoe gets off my cable.
I do apologise.
That's okay. I'm going to line the V up, pushing the speed square. Okay. I'm then going to release it, turn it on, and that gives me a nice square edge to the board, and then I can get this board in. Unfortunately, that piece is wasted firewood. And I'm sorry to Zoe because I know she's just hooved it up again. So we're just going to get this last one in, or these last ones in. There it is. And down this end. There we go. Right. I'm going to have to scribe along this door later on, and we'll sort that out in a second. I'm going to get some more bits cut, and then I'll bring you back. Right, we've given up for the evening. I've still got a few bits down here to do, but I think I'll show you that tomorrow. Anyway, back to this. It has been 10 years since we have managed to sit down in this house and eat a meal at a table. Yes, we've eaten meals here before, but normally it's on our knees or, you know, sat on the bed or something like that. But this is the first one at the table. Anyway.
Say, Steve, if you can, why not give it a go? I'm sure you can, because if I can, anybody can.